Victor, really interesting debate and Q&A after your session. What were some of the key takeaways from your perspective?
Well, what I was really trying to get the point across is that there's a lot of centralisation and a lot of great initiatives that are working at the district councils, with all of the councils, with the bodies, with the communities and so on. There's some real great ways of getting public money and getting finance and getting corporates and getting everyone together to play. One of the things that I think was missing and I think is a great enabler through the Internet of Things that I was talking about is the fact that that will also provide such a great opportunity to really enable, liberate, democratise the citizens. So by bringing in Internet of Things, by bringing in the communications, the control, the capability, the visibility, perhaps a passive and even a control or active side to all of these things, that I think it's just such a great opportunity. And it's the future. It's a little bit of a way off still, but there's the great things are is it's just such a great opportunity. You know, you could even consider it will be the next stage in the things around the great mobility that we see around today's mobile phones and some of the great businesses that are coming out, some of the iconoclastic businesses that have literally come out in the last years, which have changed and broken some of the models and rebuilt them as well.
You mentioned the need to empower workforces, the future workforce.
Not just the workforce, but the I think it's more the community. I think, you know, despite many things that have gone on at the moment, I think we've got a very well engaged, managed workforce in the UK, in Scotland. I think, you know, there's a lot of good things that are going on. But perhaps, you know, there were some good discussions and some interesting points raised around the fuel poor, the people who aren't in a workforce, and how do we make sure that those people, the people that are most needy in society, are cared for. And, you know, I think the Internet of Things is one of those technologies that will really bring and enable and get the access where money needs to really come, you know, to help focus and bring that spending that you know, is given with the best will in the world from the centralised funding bodies and so on. So, you know, it's good to have the corporates and the technologies that bring that in there, but the ultimate aim of some of those reasons to try and access the least well-off in society, you know, I think we're looking at some good enablers in the future there.
I think a great place for us to end is at the community level, the disconnect. Yeah. And that was one of the key issues that you honed in on, the inability sometimes for bigger corporates in this space to engage at the grassroots level. Mm-hmm. How can that be addressed, and what do you think about that?
Unfortunately, that's really the very essence of my job at the moment, is going out from a big corporate such as Siemens and looking and talking to those communities, finding ways to work with them. Perhaps it's not quite enough just to have the money, to have the will and the communications. Internet of Things at this stage of the cycle isn't going to provide that answer. I think that the points that I brought out is really that the big corporates, you know, do have a heart. They do have corporate social responsibility. And so by engaging on those and perhaps looking at some of the funds and some of the things that they're trying to do and aligning those and perhaps enabling communities to not be so scared to talk of those people. You talk to those people would be a great way forward. If you look at some of the best engaged communities, you quite often find that there's one or two key people who have come out of things like governmental, the civil service, out of big industry, people who have been successful in other spheres and then say, oh look, we've seen this model and I know how these technologies work. Why can't I use it to create a lasting legacy for where I live, for my community? And so perhaps if we can get that sort of dialogue and perhaps talk to all of our employees in a better way to help them to take what they see on the day-by-day basis, to remove that level of abstraction and say, that's really what we want to do with our communities, then maybe that's a way forward too.
Thank you.
All right.